Hey everybody, this is me Vinu Venkatesh on behalf of Sai Education for Comparative Examinations. So we're going to continue our lecture on simple and compound interest. Today will be the last part of the lecture. I hope you've been following the lectures and practicing. So without further ado, let's get started. We finished number 20. So 21, 22 and 23 are similar. So I will only do one of them. The remainder you can try on your own. So I'll do number 22. The compound interest on a certain sum of money for 2 years at 10% per annum is 420. The simple interest on the same sum at the same rate and for the same time will be what? Very simple. Yes, so let us first write down the information. N is equal to 2 years, R is 10% per annum and compound interest is 420. So A2 or the amount at the end of 2 years is equal to principal 0, P0 into 1.1 whole square. Why 1.1? It is 1 plus 10 by 100, which is 1 plus 0.01, 1 plus 0.1. So it is 1.1 whole raised to whole square. Square, why? Because n is square. So A2 minus P0, right? Is equal to how much? What is A2? This term. So it is this term minus P0 is equal to the compound interest, which is 420. So taking out, solving this whole equation, you find P0 to be equal to 2000. And simple interest on this would be nothing but P and R by 100, where P is 2000, N is 2, R is 10%. The answer is 400. Let's see if we are correct. Yes, it is 400. Principal is 10,000. All right. Now let us move on to number 24. Okay. A sum becomes 2,400, rupees 2,400 in 3 years and rupees 2,520 in 4 years. Find the rate of interest compounded annually. Okay. So let us write down the information. Let the sum or the original amount invested, which we also call principal, be equal to P. Let rate be equal to R%. Okay. Let A3 be the amount at the end of 3 years, which is 2,400 rupees. N in this case is obviously 3 years. Let A4 be the amount at the end of the 4th year, which is 2,520 rupees, and N obviously here is 4 years. Okay. Let us understand compound interest better. Okay, this is the timeline. Okay, they have invested the amount in total for 4 years. So principal is invested here at time 0, that is now. At the end of the 3rd year, the amount we get as 2,400. Okay, now between the 3rd and the 4th year, right? Remember we said that the difference between compound interest and simple interest is that every year, in case of compound interest, the interest is calculated on the amount at the end of the previous year. Whereas in simple interest, every year the interest is calculated on the original amount. So between year 3 and 4, that is during the 4th year, we can write the compound interest calculation as this. Amount at the end of the 4th year. Amount at the end of the 4th year is equal to amount at the end of the 3rd year, or the amount which is there at the beginning of the 4th year, into 1 plus R by 100, the whole thing raised to 1. Why 1? Because it's only 1 year. We are only looking at this period. So when you simplify, you will get R as 5%. Okay. I hope you have understood this. All right. Now, 2,520 is the amount at the end of the 4th year. It can be written like this, which is equal to amount at the end of the 3rd year into 1 plus R, the whole thing raised to 1, or it can also be written as P into 1 plus R by 100, the whole thing raised to 4, because here we are starting with P. So P is invested for 4 years to get this amount. But in this problem, because it is easier to calculate the rate of interest like this, we are using this way. Okay, I want you to understand this. So here, so the answer is correct. They have done it in a similar way, but I prefer to do it in our way so that you understand better. Okay, so 25 is very similar to 24. I'm not doing it. Let us do 30 and then move to the other questions. Okay. Okay, so number 30, find the compound interest on rupees 10,000. So 10,000 is the principal amount at 4% per annum, which is the rate, interest rate for 2 years. So N is 2 years. If the interest being compounded half yearly, now till now we have done problems where the interest was compounded yearly or annually. What do you mean by compounded half yearly? Being compounded half yearly means calculated half yearly. Interest is calculated every 6 months. Till now we have been doing questions where the interest was compounded yearly. That is, interest was calculated just once in a year, annually. Okay. So there is a formula that we have to know. When interest is compounded m times, then the amount at the end of n years is equal to the principal into 1 plus r divided by m, then the whole thing divided by 100, whole thing brackets, raised to n, that is number of years, into m, that is number of times it is compounded. For example, if m is 1, that is interest is compounded annually or only once, it is our usual formula. A at the end of 1 year is equal to, let's say, A at the end of n years is equal to principal into brackets 1 plus r divided by 1 is nothing but r by 100, the whole thing raised to n into 1. If m is 20, that is interest is compounded or calculated 20 times in a year, then A at the end of n years is equal to principal, same thing, open brackets 1 plus r by 20 divided by 100, the whole thing in brackets raised to n into 20. Okay, you have to remember that. So in this case, in question number 30, interest is compounded half yearly. That is, we can write it here, m is equal to 2. Therefore, amount at the end of 2 years, that is an, is equal to p 1 plus r by 2 divided by 100, the whole thing raised to n, which is 2, into m, which is also 2. Therefore, it is equal to 10,000 into, open brackets, 1 plus 4 by 2 is 2 divided by 100, the whole thing raised to 2 into 2, which is 4. When you expand it, you will get rupees 10,824.32, which is the amount at the end of 2 years. So compound interest we know is amount at the end of n years minus the original principal, which is 824.32, and that is the correct answer. Okay, now let's move to number 29. Now this is an important question, and they have shown it here. We'll follow their workings. What annual payment will discharge a debt of rupees 7,620 due in 3 years at 16 and 2 by 3% per annum compound interest? When nothing is mentioned about how many times it is compounded, assume that it is compounded annually, that is just once a year. Okay. So here, this is the amount at the end of 3 years. He has to pay, this person has to pay this amount at the end of 3 years. In the form of annual installments. So how do we write this? So 7620 is nothing but 1 plus x by r, whole thing divided by 100 raised to n. Let x be the annual payment. So it will be 1 plus x divided by 50 divided by 3 divided by 100 will give us this term, 50 by 3, x by 50 divided by 3 into 100 raised to 1. This is for the first year. This will be the second year, x by 50 into 3 into 100 for raised to 2. And 1 second. And then finally this term raised to 3 should give you 7620. When you expand the terms, you will get 6x by 7, 6x by 7 whole square, and then x 6 by 7 cube, and this should be equal to 7620. When you solve for x, it will be 3430. So each installment is equal to 3,430 rupees. You'll have to know the way of doing it because this is a unique question. So just practice it out. A sum of money, we'll move to number 26 now. A sum of money is lent out at compound interest rate of 4% per annum for 1 year. It would fetch rupees 36 more if interest was compounded half yearly. Okay, now we talked about compounding. find the sum. Alright, let us write it down. Rate R is equal to 4% per annum, N is equal to 1 year. Let the sum invested or the principal be equal to P. So let A1 amount at the end of the first year in the first case be equal to P into 1 plus 4 by 100, which is 1.04, whole thing raised to 1, our normal way, where interest is compounded annually. That is why here M is equal to 1, and therefore it is N into 1, which is 1 into 1 is 1. Okay, now they are saying that if the interest was compounded half yearly, that is when M is equal to 2, the amount would have been 36 rupees higher. So let that new amount be equal to A star 1, which is equal to A1 plus 36. So we can write A star 1 is equal to A1 plus 36 is equal to principal, open brackets, 1 plus 4 by, actually it should be 4 divided by 2, the whole thing divided by 100, the whole thing raised to N into M. N is 1, M is 2. Therefore, it should be raised to 1 into 2, 2. Therefore, A1 plus 36 is equal to P1 plus, this would be 2 by 100. 1 plus 2, that is 4 divided by 2 divided by 100, the whole thing square. When you simplify it, you will get this expression. A1 equals 36 is equal to P into 1.02 whole square. So let this be equation 2. Okay, now let's substitute equation 1, which is this, in equation 2. So A1 can be written as P 1.04 whole raised to 1 plus 36 equals P into 1.02 whole square. When you solve for P, you get 90,000, and that is the correct answer. Got it? Okay. I hope it's clear. You'll have to practice in order to get the hang of things. Okay, now number 27 is very simple. A sum of rupees 2,400 becomes 3,000 in 3 years at a certain rate of compound interest. What will be the amount after 6 years? So first of all, here we have to find the interest rate. We know how to do that. This is your P, this is A3, this is N, find R. Once you find R, you have P, you have the new N, which is 6 years, find A at the end of 6 years using our usual formula. Assume that interest is compounded annually because nothing is mentioned about it. If nothing is mentioned, assume it is compounded annually. 28 is very similar to 24, so please try it out on your own. And that brings us to the end of this lecture. So I hope we are all on the same page. You have understood what we are doing. Please practice so that you understand better and ask questions. All the best. Take care and see you next time.